When we say it, we speak it. Point blank, cause believe me, we mean it. Point blank, if you watch us, you see it. Point blank to the Lord Almighty, point blank.
Alright.
I wasn't born to be settled.
Hallelujah. Brand new program, I take over. Hosted by Lisa and Erika.
Till you make it.
For the future. If you no want watch it, we no care, disappear. We talk straight, no go round thing, we no fear. God is the protector around here. Point blank, I take over the atmosphere.
When we say it, we speak it. Point blank, just believe me.
Welcome to Point Blank. Hi, I'm Lisa.
I'm Erika. And today we're going to be talking about dating woes.
Yes, what is dating?
So dating is the stage of romantic relationships, courtships, and it basically is for you to determine whether that person is going to be your like the lifetime partner and the status of your relationship.
And there, some types of dating are online dating, speed dating, meaning that you go through an agency, blind dating, double dating, casual dating, and then of course there's serious dating, which leads to marriage.
And exclusivity.
Yes.
So when do you become exclusive? They say basically the average is 6 dates or about 2 months, and then you could be considered exclusive.
Yep, and when you're talking to the other person, you would be talking about future plans, goals and dreams that you have, and commitment that you're willing to give to each other, and also like the ghosts of boyfriends past, family relationships, and cheating if you've ever cheated on somebody else.
Right. So when exactly did you become exclusive with your hubby?
Yeah, so we started dating in August of 2016, and it was just kind of always like a big joke between us that I would be his like 4th girlfriend, and like he never called me his girlfriend for a few months. I think he was just kind of scared. But I mean, really at that point we were already exclusive. And then I ended up moving in 6 months into us dating. But I think when we became exclusive was probably November. So we started dating in August.
Right.
And then in November, we started being exclusive. And plus when I moved in, he didn't really have a choice, right? Because we were living together. So that's when I think, yeah, he started saying that I was his girlfriend and he was my boyfriend. So yeah, you?
So I would say that it's different. So yeah, because I met him in August. It's so funny that you said you guys met in August.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you got married, or yeah, I mean, I know your like ceremony in Mexico was also in November, but also when you saying like you became like
our anniversary's end of August.
Yeah, but it's funny like the November dates, like how those correlate between us too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I met him in August on the 1st of August, and then on the 17th of August is basically we were talking, but like I had said before, I was dating someone else and actually lived with him, so I couldn't exactly embark on a relationship then, but basically as soon as I landed, like I pretty much had that talk, because I'm not the kind of person to beat around the bush, and things weren't working before that anyways. I was already planning to break up with him, but that just was the catalyst for sure. And then yeah, and I would say so from that point forward we were, let's say the 20th of August, like we were pretty exclusive and just talking back and forth, and then became permanently exclusive in November because we got married on the 6th. So yeah.
So August and November hold some significance meaning to us then.
For sure.
Right? So
Yeah.
that's funny. And I think now we're going to just go into story time and some of the worst dates we've ever been on.
Oh my goodness.
So I guess I'll start off with one. I call it the Shrek date.
Okay.
So this is in my 20s. Me and my best friend went out one night, and you know, we were having drinks and shots bought for us left and right. And by the end of the night, I mean, we're pretty drunk. So I remember the next day, and I was talking to my best friend, who was my roommate at the time. And I was like, and I remember this guy at the very end, who was like 6 foot, brown hair. He was dressed in a suit, really good looking, really charming, really nice. And I know that we swapped numbers at the end.
Right.
Like I just remember bits and pieces of it. And so, yeah, so I got a text or a phone call, and I was excited, and I was so sure that it was him. And yeah, so I was really excited to talk to him, and we were just texting and talking to each other on the phone just to get to know each other a little more. And I was just so sure it was him. But then when I started talking to him on the phone, I felt like there was something off.
Right.
I felt like there was something that didn't really match up. And I even kind of told my roomie that, and I was just like, I'm gonna brush it off. I'm just gonna go on a date with him. He's gonna come pick me up, and then we're just gonna go and like get to know each other. So the day that he comes to the door, I remember looking outside, and I see a short, fat, bald guy wearing a green shirt. And I like lost it. I was like, oh my God, I'm not going on this date. And so he came to the door, and I was like, Sil, come with me, come open the door. So she came with me, and we opened the door, and I mean, I don't want to be mean, but I mean, he just he didn't look like the Prince Charming that I thought he was the guy.
Right.
It was like, he looked like Shrek. And he's like, Lisa? And then I pointed at Sil. And Sil's like, I'm not Lisa. And I think he just saw like the shock on my face. And he was like, oh, well, like if you're not feeling well, we can reschedule. Right. And I was like, and I felt really bad like after, and then he left, and then I ended up just going out with Sil and some of her friends. And I just felt really bad because, you know, you can't really help the way he looked, and everybody is attracted to different things, but at the same time, I think my major shock was that he wasn't the guy that I thought he was.
Right.
Like he wasn't the guy that I thought I was going on a date with, because I was super excited about this other guy, right?
Right.
And it wasn't him at all, and I don't remember meeting Shrek or like giving him my number, or like was this the Prince Charming that magically turned into Shrek, and I was just so drunk that I had like beer goggles. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I had no idea. I felt really bad. But then after he texted me, and I just said, sorry, I'm just not interested, because it wasn't just that he wasn't my type physically. We didn't really have that much in common when we were talking and like trying to get to know each other. We didn't really have much in common, right? So
Right.
I cut that off already. So
And what did
that
he say?
I think he was like upset, but I think he kind of knew, you know, like maybe like just thought, oh yeah, she's totally out of my league, but I can try, you know,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm a nice person. And yeah, so that was my Shrek dating story, but sorry, I wasn't his Princess Fiona.
No.
So you?
So I'll call this Turtle. And you were there.
Yes, I
We
was.
went to Ming, and you had told me, I think, with this other girl that we were friends with, that, I don't know, there were just like these two guys, and that they were nice guys or whatever, just to come out like and have drinks. So like, I guess technically it was a date, but not really, because there was like 3 of us and 2 of them. So
Yeah.
I more went because I just wanted to get free drinks, really, and like, yeah, being quite honest about that. But anyway, this guy just Yeah, totally like that movie where like Dana Harvey is like turtle, and he completely looked like that, like with his turtleneck, and then also he was drinking wine, and you know when you get that wine mouth, like the red, especially like, well, obviously with red wine, where it's like the lips are like super red, and I don't know. And then he was just telling me that, oh yeah, you're so gorgeous, and oh, I love your attitude. And I'm like, I'm not being very nice. I don't know, just because he seemed like a person he thought he was entitled to certain women, even though he wasn't, I don't know, anything for me to write home about. And like just because he had money,
God's gift to woman.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it was his attitude that turned you off.
Yeah, but just also it was like, but you don't. I don't know how to describe it, because I don't want to sound shallow, but I kind of was too. But at the same time, it was how he was portraying himself. If he had been more humble, like, because I just am not a person who, if you tell me you're a doctor or you own a multi-million-dollar business, I don't really care. If you're not a nice person, then whatever, that doesn't mean anything to me.
Well, you got to be attracted to them too. Like, you have to be somewhat attracted, and anybody who says they're not is lying.
Well, exactly. But also too, I feel like if you're not the kind of person who just can talk to people and on a certain level, regardless of their education, what job title they have, where they come from, all of that. Like, if you're a person who just looks at people for those things specifically, that's not someone who I want to get to know, because I don't care if you're a janitor at, like, my work. I talk to people, whoever, at work. Like, if you're friendly and you're there, I'll be like, hi, how's it going? You know, because I don't think that I'm better than someone just because I'm working in a certain position and they're not, because first of all, I don't know their life, and they could be a doctor back home where they're from or whatever. And even if they aren't, it doesn't matter. Like, if they're a good person, that to me means way more than any job title you could have. So that was the thing with that guy.
So Shrek and Turtle didn't make the cut for us.
No.
And then another one I want to talk about, it's not the worst date that I've been on, but it was just, I'm just going to talk about like the expectations behind it, because he's like a big NHL star and all of that. So, yeah, obviously I'm not going to name the person I went on a date with, but he's a really big NHL star. His team's won the cup many times. And so, initially, when we met, he had me and like two of my friends go see him at his hotel room before we went out. So we went there and we were all hanging out, and because he invited us for some drinks and stuff like that. And so my two friends sat in the living room, and then I was talking to him in the room, and he was just like, oh, just stay with me, like stay the night so that we can just hang out. He's like, I can't leave my hotel room because it's in my contract that I can't leave, but if you just stay with me, we can just hang out, watch a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
watch a movie.
Sure. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, no. Because I was more interested in going out with my friends, and I knew what he wanted, right? I mean, he's a hockey player, right? So we ended up leaving, and he ended up calling me after, because he wanted me to come hang out, and I just turned my phone off. And then when he was back in town, he did call me. Surprisingly, I mean, he probably could have had like 40 numbers, right?
True.
Anyways, he called me, and I remember looking at the phone, and I was thinking at that time, I wasn't dating anybody, but I was thinking at the time, like, is this something that I really wanted? Like, I think there was just so much pressure and like, especially if you're dating like a really big like athlete at the same time. So I was just thinking, because, you know, he's like, come, I'll like take you for dinner and stuff like that. He was just trying to sweet talk me. And I didn't go, and I know he was pretty mad, right? Because he's probably, you gotta realize, he probably just expects, girls probably just jump on him or just drop at his feet left and right because he's a huge star. And I just wasn't there. So I think it's just expectations. I think part of me didn't want to go because maybe he just expected so much from me, or just wanted me to be like a hockey puck. You know what I mean? Like, or whatever. But yeah, I think that was just a really big lesson for me. Like, it wasn't just that, but when we talked and stuff, I just wasn't sure if we had that much in common, and if he was just had some of the qualities that I was looking for, like in the lifelong partner, you know. It would have been just easy and fun just to go and have fun and just, you know, put it all out there that I was dating so-and-so, but I just wasn't really into that, you know. Like, just kind of going there and just kind of seeing like what it would be like and if we had any more chemistry. And that was the reason, like, I brought my 2 friends, because I didn't want to be put in a situation by myself where I couldn't say no. So that's the reason I brought my 2 friends with me. It's not really a date, but it was just kind of like testing the waters. So that was one of my other ones, was just so many doubts and stuff are coming into my head, and I just wanted to make sure that if we did have something there and I wanted to go back on a date with him, then it would have been good the first time, right? But I just felt like he just wanted only one thing, and I wasn't interested in that. Yeah. So, you?
I kind of have a similar story, actually.
Do you?
Now that I was just thinking about it. I remember going to Morgan's, and actually, like, Wayne Gretzky does a golf tournament here, but it's not about him. You didn't take Wayne Gretzky? No, I love Wayne Gretzky, but no, he's a family man. No, so we went there because I guess a lot of the players who were playing in the tournament actually went to Morgan's, and it was like after hours when everything was closed, because we knew like the owners of the pub and stuff. So so I was just there with my one friend who I said had since passed away, Christina. And so we're there, and then one of the like players from the Flames at the time was there with his friend, and his friend was cute and stuff, but you know, I don't know. My brother played hockey growing up. I've never really been into hockey players, just because I know, like, I have been a tomboy for most of my life. So you can only imagine the stories I've heard and the things that I've seen. So that's just not. I'm not going to be a puck bunny. So. Like, it was just fun to hang out. So he's just like, oh yeah, same sort of thing. Come to my hotel room and hang out. And I said, no, that's not happening. I said to him, I'm not a puck bunny. And then this player who played for the Flames is just like, oh, that's not very nice. He just wants to be friends. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And I didn't say
benefit.
Yeah, but at the time I didn't say anything, because you know sometimes you're just kind of shocked. But in my head I'm thinking, yeah, oh right, so he wants to be friends, and then if I go up there and I say no, and then something happens, then I'm gonna be the one who's labeled as like, you know, a slut, or just I wanted. Or I had it coming, or whatever, if something bad happened. And fingers
wouldn't be pointed at the athlete. It would be pointed at you, right? That you wanted it, that it was all on you.
Exactly. So, I mean, it wasn't, like you said, not really a date situation, but just, I don't know, it just could have not been a good situation, and thankfully I always had my like wits about me with that kind of thing, just to be like, no, that's not a good idea to go there. That is just not gonna, it's not gonna end up the way I want it to end up, and yeah. So.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts of dating.
All right. So do definitely be on time, because it's, polite to just be on time and be probably a few minutes early.
Don't talk about how great, how amazing you are. Listen and ask some questions.
Yeah, and do be interested. So yeah, be present and not wishing you were somewhere else or looking off somewhere else,
Don't keep checking your phone, right? This is a really big one. In this day and age, everybody is constantly on their phone, but have some respect. Unless somebody is dying, or your child, if you have a child and it's an emergency, then stay off your phone.
Exactly. Do listen more, and you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, and you're supposed to use your ears more than you use your mouth. So be sure to just take in everything of that person while you are with them.
Well, you learn more by listening and not talking, right?
Yeah.
So don't be underdressed. So this is a big one. Just because when you're going on a date, you want to represent yourself really nice. You want to take time and make an effort. That's fine if you don't want to wear no makeup and you've been showered for 3 days and you're wearing your sweatpants if you're at home. But for a first date, shower, dress nice, put a little effort in, because it matters.
Exactly. Do ask more questions. Yeah, just that can just illuminate their character and the qualities that they have that maybe you do or you don't want in them. So asking questions is a great way just to get to know each other.
Don't try and be perfect, because obviously we know nobody is perfect.
Do make eye contact. You don't need to give them like that intense stare, but giving them a few seconds of eye contact and just going and just those sounds that you can make that show that you're listening to the person, right?
Don't spend too much time talking about past relationships, and especially if you're still hung up on your ex or just listing all of your ex's flaws. Please don't do that on the first date.
No. Do be honest. So if things are going well, then say so. If you just don't see it going anywhere else, then say so as well.
Don't think too far ahead. So maybe you think you met your dream guy. Don't be talking about babies and getting married on the first date, because you want to keep that to a minimum.
Yeah. Do offer to pay the bill, but both of us agreed that if it's a first date, especially, I am old-fashioned, and if the guy doesn't pay,
the man should take the bill.
I feel that's right, and
because it's different. For the first date, yes, the man should be a gentleman, but then if the woman does make more than the man, then of course for future dates, and she can take the bill or split it or whatever.
Yeah, right? But I just think it shows chivalry. It shows respect. I know not every one of you is going to agree with us, but that's just how I was raised, and I just think it just shows.
It's still an old kind of romance that's still out there.
Yeah,
right?
Romance, and just shows that you, are taking it seriously, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another one would be, don't assume that the person is not interested in you. I know a lot of people will go on a date and let's say that other person is really physically really good looking, and then you're sitting there thinking, well, they're not going to be interested in someone like me. They're out of my league. Don't think that way. Just be yourself, have fun, because it's more than just about the way that you physically look. It's about personalities, and if you have an amazing personality, that person will fall for you.
Yeah. Do be confident, and you can make the first move. With my husband, I guess I kind of did, but I don't know.
I did.
Did you?
Well, right.
Yeah, true. So, I mean, it's a different day and age where, yeah, that's totally okay for girls to be a bit more bold and
go after what you want. And I think, you know, we like a little old fashioned where the man opens the doors for you and picks up the first bill. But also, if you're interested in a guy and some guys have no idea because they can't read your mind, then go after them. Let them know you're interested. It's up to them to let you know if they're on the same page or not.
For sure. And I think especially if we're talking about, especially nowadays, with all the stuff that's going on with Me Too, Time's Up and all of that, it's probably best, ladies, if you let men know where your boundaries are, what you're, you know, kind of letting them know, yes, I am interested in you, and it's okay if you know, kiss me or whatever kind of thing, just because I do know, guys, it is confusing for, I do think it's getting to a point sometimes where it's like you can't even give someone a compliment. Like, I don't know. There's a fine line.
Yeah, or you can't hug them, or you can't do anything that sometimes women give off the wrong intentions as well by how they're dressed, or like they're being very flirtatious as well. So it's always good just to set your boundaries right away, like what is allowed on the first date and what isn't.
Exactly.
I think another one would be don't pretend to be somebody else. That is probably a really big one. Don't pretend to be somebody else unless like you're schizophrenic and you don't have any control over that.
You're a twin, like Elizabeth and Jessica.
Yeah.
Shout out to the sweet life.
And a lot of times too, yeah. Don't pretend to be somebody that you're not, because at the end of the day, when they do find out who you are, that'll be a storm.
An S storm. Yeah, do tell a friend if you want to be more than friends. I've never really, I guess, well, yeah, I've been in this situation before. It can go one of two ways, but I don't know. I feel like if you are feeling that way for someone, it's not really genuine if you're not going to tell them. Like, if you're just being friends with them so that you can eventually date them, like, just say something to them. I don't know. That's how I think.
Yeah, I think don't forget your manners as well when you're going on dates.
For sure.
You know, your please and thank yous and just common sense.
For sure.
Common courtesy, common manners.
Yeah, because for sure, turn off is somebody who's rude to, like, waiters or waitresses when you're out and doesn't have that kind of respect and table manners too, you know? Yeah. I mean, you don't have to be perfect, like eating a 5-course dinner kind of person. But... Or
let's say like you're sitting on a date and like a supermodel walks in, and of course everybody turns to look, but then your date is just sitting there just gawking at them with his mouth open. I mean, have some respect, have manners. Like, it's fine to glance, but then your focus should be on the person in front of you.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure. Do allow yourself to be wooed. So, yeah, just, I don't know, because sometimes in this day and age, like we're saying before, I just find sometimes it's like, oh, well, yeah, I can open the door for myself and I can do these. And
why did you get me flowers? Like, I don't need flowers. I don't need chocolate. It's like, yes, you do. You need some romance in your life. And if a guy makes the effort to do little things like that, then it just shows you what type of person he is.
Exactly.
And also that he wants to romance you. And I think nowadays dating is all about, like, everybody just wants to just get it on, you know, instead of just romancing somebody the old-fashioned way.
Yeah. And
just... That's just so much more romantic when somebody shows up at my door 10 minutes early and brings me flowers and opens a door for me. That I'm much more amazed by that than somebody saying, I'm so sexy, and that they can't wait to rip my clothes off. And, you know, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. And also to that as well, you, I don't think, should also expect that you're going to always get that either. Like, because if you're getting flowers every day, it doesn't mean as much, right? Like, And sometimes even someone just writing you a cute little text or little note that you can find, like, I don't know, in your lunch or something, or in your purse somewhere. That's like, so nice.
Yeah, I think little things that become your thing or things that you're not really expecting. Because it can come with a lot of things. When people cheat on their significant others, and especially if they're wealthy, they'll shower them with gifts because they feel guilty, right?
Right.
Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they can give $1 million rings and stuff like that, but none of that means anything and why are you doing it, right?
Exactly.
So if you're just trying to cover up because you did something bad, then that's really not worth it at all.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I totally agree.
So, I mean, I think we're pretty happy that we haven't been in the dating game for a while, because it's a little bit more complicated nowadays than it was when we were dating, where we just, instead of all this online dating, we just basically met the person face to face. And if you had chemistry, then you would do things old-fashioned way and call each other up and set up a date and go out.
Yeah.
And now everything is just done, like your whole biography and everything is like online. And basically people just, swipe left or right to see if they like you, or just they like the way you look.
Right.
So it's very different now. So I don't envy anybody who's dating right now.
No. I mean, obviously I have some friends who are single. They are having fun dating and everything, but I do feel like sometimes they find it exhausting as well. So I am thankful for where I am, but also, like, I don't envy where they are and where I am, but also, like, it's good that they're in that place too, because we all have to be at different places. So, like, you know, wherever you're at, like, embrace that and
enjoy it. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy your dates. I mean, not everybody that you go on a date on, it's going to be like the perfect date and they're going to be the man of your dreams.
Right.
And sometimes it is going past the way somebody looks, because once you get to know that person and you fall in love with them, they're the most beautiful person to you.
Right.
But on that note, you do have to be somewhat attracted to them as well, right?
For sure. And just
like attraction is a big thing.
Just as another side, because on one of the articles we read, it said, do be nice, which, yes, be nice. But I'm just, with women especially, just trust that voice inside too. If you feel uncomfortable or you feel, I don't know, there's just something you can't put your finger on about the person. Like, don't feel obligated to stay, and don't feel obligated to leave with them either if you don't feel okay with that. And don't, seriously, even if they're like, oh, you're a bitch, well, I guess I am, but I'm an alive one. So
listen to your intuition, because people can portray to be somebody else until you meet them, and when your intuition kicks in, just listen to it. Actually, really good stories. A good friend of mine went out with this guy who was really good looking, and they hit it off. They went on a few dates, but then she said she was just so busy with work and something was telling her like not to date him. And he would always show up at her work. He would always call her, kind of like stalk her. And then finally he just gave up and he started dating another girl, and he ended up being like really controlling and possessive, and he ended up murdering his girlfriend and himself. So
oh my gosh,
she escaped that one by listening to her instincts. So for that, yes,
wow.
Very important.
Yeah, seriously, especially
because you
ladies.
don't know if you're on a date with a serial killer or somebody psychotic. You have no idea.
You have no idea, and I feel like we've been taught that we're supposed to just be nice to everybody, and that's not the case. Like, I don't care if people want to tell you that you're being snotty.
Or even like
safe than sorry.
We're almost taught in a society that if somebody is good looking and they have a good job, that there's no way that they could be creepy or a serial killer.
Ted Bundy.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't just go off by that, by how somebody looks. You gotta trust.
Bernardo.
You gotta trust your feeling and your instincts that you're getting from that person, because it doesn't lie.
Exactly.
And it could save your life.
It really could. So I think that's about it.
I think so too. I hope you enjoyed our dating stories, and we will see you next time.
Bye. God bless.
Let me know.
When we say it, we speak it. Point blank, please believe me, we mean it. Point blank, if you watch us, you see it.
So now we're going to be asking each other some questions.
So, what would your perfect first date be?
My perfect first date would be dinner somewhere nice, like a rooftop restaurant, with like a beautiful view of either the ocean or the city, just depending what city I'm in. And then after dinner, I think like a nice stroll, like barefoot on the beach, and just talking and getting to know each other. I think for me that would be the perfect first date.
Okay.
You?
Yeah, I'd say kind of similar. I love the beach, so definitely that would be awesome. Like even to have like a kind of like a fire pit on the beach, and then have like a table on the beach where we could have dinner, and just go for a little walk or a swim. Though I'd be afraid about Jaws. But yeah, that would be cool. Or just even to like just kind of walk along the shore and just kick water up and stuff and just be kind of silly. Yeah.
Nice. So tell me, what would you wear on your first date?
Something, I don't know, like I
like it would of course depend on what season and what city you live in, but if
like an ideal weather, like
yes, so what would be your go-to on like the perfect date? What would you be wearing?
Probably like maybe a maxi dress sort of thing, and more like a hippie-ish type vibe, I guess. And yeah, probably in blue because that's my favorite. Yeah, like a
but like comfort over style. Heels.
I don't think heels. I'm just thinking about trying to walk in the sand in heels is not a fun thing. So probably not. Probably just like some sandals or, slip-off sandals that I can kind of take off and like hold in my hand. But they're cute, like yeah, just like something that maybe like, those kind of braided sandals. That kind of like gladiator-ish look.
Yeah, comfy but stylish.
Exactly, yes. Yeah, definitely. Because I think you can do both. How about you?
I love my dresses, so usually I'm always wearing some sort of pretty sundress. So yeah, probably just a really pretty sundress. And I usually like to wear like platforms.
Yeah.
With my sundresses, so some like comfy platform shoes. Yeah, so because I'm usually always in a dress if it's a summer dress, if it's not a cocktail dress.
Right.
And what would you expect your date to wear?
Peter would love like every time because he grew up in Jamaica, so he would always have like those longer kind of shorts on.
Okay.
And then he would either wear like a polo or, I like those kind of flowy like white shirts too. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, like they kind of air out and stuff. So they're not too
hot,
heavy and hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, either a polo or something like that, and just sandals and yeah.
Yeah, I love a man in a suit. I just think that a man in a suit just puts so much more effort in. But it just really depends on the date and where you're going.
True.
I think if you're going somewhere nice, then he should be putting on a suit or even like a nice dress shirt and some nice jeans.
Right.
And a blazer. But really my husband is like a t-shirt and jeans kind of guy, but for dates or special events, he doesn't hesitate to put on a button up for me. So that's kind of nice in that sense. So I think it depends.
Totally.
Right? Depends on both. I mean, it's weird if I'm wearing a cocktail dress and he's wearing t-shirt and jeans, like we wouldn't really be matching, right? Or
yeah,
look
completely.
like we're together.
Yeah, like if I was wearing a cocktail dress, yeah. Peter's pretty much the same way. Like, I mean, mostly, yes, he's a jeans and t-shirt kind of guy too. However, you know, if we're going to like a meeting or somewhere where it requires, you know, looking a step above and dressing more formally, then he's not going to be complaining about it or like putting up a big fuss. And yeah, like he knows what the occasion is, like with Ryan, what's appropriate to wear to what. So yeah, I think they're both pretty good about that.
Yeah. Okay. And then
yeah, so what about on a first date, flowers, chocolate, a card, or nothing at all?
I'm old-fashioned. I love flowers. I know a lot of people say I don't like flowers because they die. Well, most things die. We all die too eventually. But if they're beautiful in the moment, then you might as well enjoy that moment. So I think flowers and like a nice bottle of wine, like that would be, even if he showed up with nothing at all, like I'm okay with that. But I mean, if he wants to show up with something to impress me, it'd be flowers and like a nice bottle of wine.
Yeah.
You?
I pretty much agree with that. I do love flowers, and I think it's silly when people say flowers die. Well, they were put on earth for us to look at and enjoy. And they're going to die anyway, so may as well have them to enjoy.
Well, and
them.
now they have roses that you can get preserved that last over a year.
There we go.
So I guess that's for people who don't like flowers. I feel like the people who say they don't like that have never really gotten flowers.
Yeah.
From.
I mean, I've never really gotten flowers, but that doesn't negate the fact that I just like flowers. Like, I just think they're gorgeous and they're beautiful. And yeah, like, I don't know. I
think they're old fashioned. Like,
they are.
Like back in the day, it's like, you know, when a man is asking his mom, well, what should I get? You know, her going on a date. It's like, get her some pretty flowers.
Right.
And I think that goes with the old fashioned, like,
boutonniere.
Yes. Beautiful flowers are just a little bit more romantic, you know?
For sure. And I just think, I don't know, if I'm going to get flowers or a plant, no, like, I really love flowers. So, yeah.
Okay, and now we're just gonna list two of like the coolest restaurants in the world that you can take your date to, if you want, or your wife too, your significant other. So one of them I've actually been to. It is called the Sunset de Mona Lisa in Cabo, in Los Cabos. It's beautiful. It is on the cliffside, and the view is stunning, especially when you're going to be sitting there when the sun goes down. You basically see the bay, you see the ocean, and you see the arch. And it's a 5-star Michelin restaurant, and it's layered so everybody gets a view. But it is reservations only. You have to book a few months in advance, and it did make it in the top 5 of the coolest restaurants in the world by Times and Forbes magazine.
Wow. And Hotel Ristorante Grotta Palazzesi. I hope I'm saying that right. And it's on Italy's Adriatic Sea, and it's a cave restaurant that is, so yeah, it's like right on the ocean, and it's basically cut into the side of a mountain, and then there's the ocean right there.
And you don't need any salt either.
No.
You don't need to ask for any salt because you're right by the ocean. It's like just the waves are just crashing upon your dinner table. So no extra salt is needed for this location in Italy. The other one that I have not been to, but it just seemed really cool, is called Sirocco. It is located in Bangkok. It is the highest open bar restaurant in the world. And I guess that's where they film like The Hangover 2 and stuff like that. And it just looks like a really beautiful spot with just a beautiful view of the city and open rooftop on a beautiful day, it would be perfect.
Yeah, and I just thought of something just, you know, for those of us who can't like afford a 5-star restaurant, or you just want to do something simple. Like if you were traveling to, say, Paris, you could just have a picnic, you know, down by the Eiffel Tower and, you know, get some nice cheese, wine.
Yeah, wine.
Yeah. And
just that whole
that
city of love vibe.
Yes, that wee pretty spirit.
Exactly, and that's very affordable and doable. You don't always have to take somebody to a 5-star restaurant.
No.
It just happens to be that some of the coolest restaurants are expensive and 5-star that are listed. So
true, but you can give someone a 5-star experience, which is much better, right? So there we go.
So, anyways, bye.
Bye.